All right, good afternoon, San Diego. This is Chris McCullough. I'm your host today for KSA Insider. KSA Insider is a show that focuses on consumer protection and education in the real estate market, and we're here to help you protect yourself from all the potential pitfalls and predators that are out there waiting. Really excited about today. You know, I've been trying to get this guy in here for a while, since we pretty much, I think even before we started the show, I had a separate show. It was just on strictly on real estate investing. And, you know, just so you know, I have Brock Vandenberg. The guy is amazing. He's a local hard money lender, but he does so much more. And I think the big reason why I want to have him on, I had a client call us recently because, you know, as a lot of you know, I'm a real estate agent, also an investor. And we had a guy call in. He says, here's the thing. I invested into a REIT and, you know, I'm getting maybe 5%. I put $1 million in. This was my entire savings, my retirement. Now I'm at like $780,000 and I'm looking for options. Can you help me buy a bunch of real estate? Now here's the thing. Absolutely. I'll definitely help you, you know, buy a bunch of real estate. But there's other options. There are people out there that are going to give you better ways of investing your cash. And, you know, I just thought this was a great kind of a hybrid to where we could talk to investors that are out there. We could also talk to regular average Joes that are just looking to maybe make a little bit of cash over time by investing the money that they're actually working hard for. So, Brock, thank you so much for making it in. I'm really excited to have you here. Like I said, I know we've been trying to do this for a while. Just real quick, can you go ahead and just give everybody a quick rundown of who you are?
Well, Chris, I want to first thank you for having me on. I know we've been chatting about this for a while, about getting on the radio together. So, I run Talomar Financial. It's a hard money lender here in San Diego. We specialize in financing fix and flips, construction loans, and other types of bridge loans, both on residential and commercial real estate. And so we've been doing that for about 8 years. So it's been a great cycle to go through. The real estate market is hot right now. And we've been super busy over the last couple of years financing, again, fix and flips, construction loans, and short-term bridge loans.
Right, and we've done a few together too, you know, with different clients that we have.
Absolutely.
And I think that's where, when people hear hard money, and this is why, especially for KSA Insider, I think what I really love about the show is that we go deeper into what the truth is as opposed to what people think, the different myths that are out there. Or I don't want to say people lie.
No.
But people lie, right? And so I think it's an opportunity for me to bring people in that I know, like, and trust and give them an opportunity to kind of tell some of the pitfalls, the darker sides of real estate that people just don't talk about and actually bring out the truth. You know, what is hard money? How can the average guy use it? Is it just for fix and flip investors? What's a bridge loan? So kind of go through some of these things because I think if more people knew what you did, they would actually be more receptive to working with somebody like you, for one. For two, they would actually know how to find a qualified person that's going to be beneficial to them. And I think that's huge. I think it's extremely huge.
Well, I think the biggest misconception about a hard money lender is, number one, if you don't make your payments, we're gonna break your legs or something to that effect.
Oh yeah, like the mafia.
Simply, a hard money lender is an alternative source of capital for your real estate transaction. We come into play when your traditional bank can't finance your purchase or refinance or whatever it is. Right. You can go to the private marketplace, in other words, a hard money lender, to finance that transaction. The idea of hard simply means we're lending on that hard asset. So if you stop making payments, that hard asset is our collateral.
Right, and that makes sense. So then you can actually, you know, and there's a lot of different options. I'm assuming that you can go from that. And we'll probably talk about that here in a little bit. I think the one I want to talk about, so you brought up something that was very important, a traditional bank. You know, whether some people just don't want to deal with a traditional bank. I know some people, even if they have the ability to go through a traditional bank, like investors, they would rather use a hard money lender because of the short amount of time that they're going to be within that investment, that they're turning over that asset.
So the primary reasons a borrower would come to us is, number one, speed. Most of the business that we're doing today are what we call fix and flips. Our borrower is buying a property, they intend to rehab it and sell it within a 1-year period. The banks are not interested in financing that kind of deal. So they'll come to us and we'll fund that transaction typically within a 1 or 2 week time frame. Additionally, borrowers come to us because the real estate asset that they own, that they're using for the loan, may not fit the requirements for a bank, and so
they can't get a traditional loan. I know some of the properties I've seen. There was one in particular that I think you funded, and the ceiling was peeling back. It was peeling back with mold. I mean, it was just in bad shape.
It was a wreck. It was a wreck.
And the reality is, a traditional company isn't going to lend on something like that because to them, it's too much risk. Now, this is where... And I always found this interesting because I've talked to a couple lenders, traditional lenders, and like, oh, we'll absolutely loan on that. For one, now we start getting into TRID and a few other things. And I don't want to use this hour to talk about that mess. But I think what's unique about it is being able to give multiple options to an investor to walk in, close out, and do it in a form of cash that's going to make a profit for them, make a profit for the person that's selling the property, and not have to deal with the constraints of a traditional lender. And I think what's unique, and I want to talk about this later on today, so I'm writing it right down right now. The traditional person. I know a lot of traditional people that actually will get lending on their home, and it's not always because they have bad credit. I think some people think that, well, you go to a hard money lender because you have bad credit. I think it's just because of the flexibility and options that are afforded to them. Some people want to only do lease only on their property in a sense, to where they're just making the bare minimum payments to cover the home. They don't really want to bring down the total. And for those of you listening, now I might be talking a little fast, so let me slow down for a second. There's 3 ways to make money on a home if you're going to keep a home over time. This is whether you own the house or if you're doing it as a buy and hold purchase, right? So you're looking at the appreciation of the home. Now in San Diego, the appreciation is pretty great, of course, until there's a crash, right? You're looking at the cash flow on that property, and you'll also look at the taxes. So the reason why I'm mentioning this with a traditional person, some people bank on the appreciation of the home, the tax deductibles that they have. So they'll talk to a hard money lender and say, look, I'll even tell you even for me. So if I get a traditional loan, and I'm making payments, and I know I'm going to sell it in 2 years after I get past capital gains, and I know I'm going to make $100,000 or $200,000. I could speculate I'm going to make $100,000 to $200,000 on the property. Is it really worth going in and paying more money per month, which is really only interest only over what,
typically
5 years for it to
2 to 5 years,
2 to 5 years
term of a loan,
right? So I could actually pay less, still be where I was to begin with, because you're only paying it on a traditional loan anyways, and still walk away with the cash without having to come out of pocket so much. Am I correct?
That's a great way of looking at it. Now, most of the borrowers are not, if all the borrowers are coming to us with what we call business purpose loans. So these aren't going to be their owner, these aren't owner occupant type loans, or
right.
The funds aren't being used for personal use. But again, a lot of the borrowers are coming to us because, again, the credit isn't great. Again, that asset is not in a condition that a traditional lender would use it as collateral, or most cases that they need to close within a 1 week or 2 week basis.
Right. So when you talk about credit, if somebody comes to you, whether it's an investor or anybody, what can you tell us some of like are we allowed to talk about your terms and kind of what you put out there?
Well, we can absolutely. I think there's been a big transition. Number one, if you were to talk to me around 2009 timeframe,
right,
the credit was really banged up with real estate investors who had lost properties or within the process of losing a property. So they just got caught up in the marketplace. That didn't concern us as much as somebody who may show a track record of not being able to pay their debts, like credit cards. What you have is revolving credit lines. That's
right.
That's a tough loan for us to do. But we have a lot of borrowers that may have lost a property, and we can understand that, we can underwrite to that, and then provide them terms that are beneficial to them.
Right. Okay, that makes great sense. And when they come in and they're looking at as far as terms, and I've seen all sorts of different terms, and so I'm going to put this out there. Maybe you could talk a little bit about this. I've seen some guys come in and say, oh, we'll loan 100% on the value, and they try to throw all these real glittery, shiny objects at you, and I guess I know enough of the business to know that that's a huge red flag. So what would you consider to be fair terms if somebody was looking to do, let's say, a fix and flip loan, to come in and...
So a good rule of thumb in the hard money lending business is that 65% loan to value ratio. So we'll typically lend up to 65%. Now, if we're talking about a fix and flip property, we'll take into consideration the future value of that property when it's completed. So we may go up to 65% of what we call the after repair value. But if we're talking about a bridge loan or a property that you're not intending to rehab in any way, we're looking at its current value. And typically we're capped out at that 65% loan to value.
Okay, cool. So if it's 65% loan to value, and we're looking at it from a ARV perspective, an after repair value. So the listeners that are listening, what is the after repair? When a real estate agent sits down and they start looking at, if this house was completely 100% turnkey, I just bought it for $100,000 and it's worth $300,000 if it's turnkey, and Brock looks at it and says, well, I think there's $65,000 worth of repairs that are going to be needed to get it to that point. Well, there's a whole lot of juice there. So you're looking at, he's going to loan on 65% of that. So right now, looking over, that's $195,000. They're going to loan up to $195,000 on that total property. So there's two ways somebody can do that. They either max it out, or what a lot of investors do is they'll negotiate to actually get to that point, or they have a little bit of cash in pocket that they can put towards it, or they'll go and look for somebody that's going to take over a second or do a bridge loan. Is that correct?
Yeah. So most of the borrowers that we're working with, or we're going to require, is they're going to have cash in the deal. We're not financing 100% of
right. So they want a little bit of skin in the game.
So we want to show that you've got skin in the game on day one when we close on that property. But that's a very normal transaction for us. And if you were to look at the percentage of our portfolio, it's mostly these fix and flip type of loans, which that market is still very active.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Now, you just mentioned, or I mentioned something. You said you want them to come in with some skin in the game. I know a lot of investors, they still will do it with zero money down, and they're basically coming in with a second or something like that, having somebody else cover that cost. Do you think that's dangerous, or do you think that's a good profitable business?
It depends. Obviously you're going to make more money if you can bring in that, what we call gap funding, that portion of the difference between our loan and the total cost of the project. However, we have plenty of borrowers that come in with a financial partner, provide that, again, gap financing. That's the difference between what the loan amount is and the total project cost. And that gap funding will cover that difference. Right. So it really depends on what resources you have available in terms of capital to fund your transaction.
Right. Okay, great. Now, if this is running past you way too fast, I just want everybody to know out there, at the end of this, you're going to be able to reach out to Brock. You can always reach out to me. I know a ton of people after every radio show hit me up, but we're just going to keep cooking because there's just so much information, and I really want to get this out to everybody. But as you know, we got to pay the bills, so we're going to roll to a quick commercial. We're going to come back. I really want to start digging deeper into some of the other side, the less traditional for you, and start talking more about trust deeds, investments, things like that for the average Joe, and then we'll probably jump right back into investing. So keep listening. Here it is, ESPN 1700 KSA Insider. Talk to you in a few.
Ty-Court Title of San Diego is the next generation of title companies. They offer their clients the most complete real estate services in the nation. They have 4 convenient locations in the greater San Diego area to service all your residential and commercial transactions. Ty-Court Title of San Diego offers you title and escrow solutions. Whether you are buying, selling, or refinancing, they have you covered. With over a century of experience, you can count on Ty-Court Title of San Diego. They have a solid history of servicing customers with high integrity, white glove service, and value. They also have unrivaled financial strength to back your policies. For all your real estate transactions, call Ty-Court Title of San Diego today at 619-260-5200.
Alliance Escrow, the most reliable and hardworking escrow team in San Diego. Buying, selling, or refinancing a home can be a stressful event, and our friendly staff here at Alliance is ready to make your home buying or selling process as smooth as possible. We strive for outstanding customer service and are very dedicated to giving top quality service to each and every sale. Alliance Escrow will provide a special discount to active and reserve service members and disabled or retired veterans as well. Whether it's residential, commercial, bulk business, or refinance, call Alliance Escrow today and let us help you close your deal as seamlessly as possible. Call 619-609-0015 or go to www.allianceescrowinc.com today. That's 619-609-0015 or www.allianceescrowinc.com. Alliance Escrow, your partners in real estate.
You can make a powerful gift even more powerful, even at the last minute. Right now at the Home Depot, get a Select Power Tool free when you buy a Select Combo Kit from Milwaukee, Ridgid, Ryobi, Makita, or DeWalt. Buy a Select Combo Kit and get another Select Power Tool free. Only at the #1 retailer of power tools and accessories, the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. Based on Trackline data, July 2013 through June 2016, valid through January 25th, limit 1 per customer. See store for details.
This holiday, get an amazing deal during the Ford year-end event. Get $1,000 Ford Smart Bonus cash on select models on top of all other great offers. Or check out special year-end lease deals across the entire lineup of Ford cars, trucks, and SUVs, including Ford Edge, Explorer, and the Built Ford Tough F-150. Amazing deals on amazing vehicles. Save big on Ford, America's best-selling brand. During the Ford year-end event, get $1,000 Ford Smart Bonus cash on top of all other great offers. Or check out special year-end lease deals across the entire Ford lineup. See your local Ford dealer today. Supply vehicles with Ford Smart Bonus is limited. Not available on Focus RS, Shelby GT350, Ford GT, F-150 Raptor, F-650, or 750. See dealer or go to buyfordnow.com to find specially tagged vehicles and for qualifications and complete details. For all offers, take new retail delivery from dealer stock by 12/19/2016. Sales claim based on 2015 calendar year sales.
Don't be left out. If you've moved, be sure to update the address on your INE and participate in the decisions of your community. Also, check and make sure it has an 18 on the back. If it doesn't, it's no longer valid and you need to renew it. If it doesn't have any numbers on the back, check its validity on the front. Update your INE and never be left out again. National Electoral Institute, INE.
For 50 years, the Mexican armed forces have had a plan to defend Mexico. They do it for the citizens. They do it for the families. They do it for the country. They give their all, and they know exactly what needs to be done. 50 years of applying the DN3E plan. They are with you. Their cause is Mexico. Secretary of National Defense. Government of the Republic.
All right, San Diego, we are back. KSA Insider right here on ESPN 1700. Again, I'm Chris. I'm Chris McCullough with Kim Steele & Associates, and I'm here with Brock Vandenberg, and we're going to kind of keep rolling along, talking about, hard money lending and some of the options that are out there and the pitfalls. So the one thing that we started touching on when we were last talking, excuse me, was bridge loans and gap funding. I think there's... I don't want to call it a myth, but I think a lot of people are really confused on what the difference. They think it's the same thing, and I don't believe it's the same thing. But I wanted to ask the expert, what's the difference between a bridge loan and gap funding?
Good question, Chris. Here at Telomar Financial, we offer a number of lending options, one being bridge loans. And simply what a bridge loan is a borrower will come to us and maybe be in a position that their traditional bank loan can't fund the transaction at close. So they'll come to us for what we call a bridge loan. So we fund the loan for them. And then once their lender can come in, let's say 6 months or 12 months later to refinance us out, that's what's called a bridge loan. So it gets them to a point in time that their traditional lender can refinance our loan out. The benefit to the borrower, obviously, is that they can close on time, they can secure that property, and then if they decide to do any type of development on the property or maybe get some approvals, that's what that bridge loan is there for, that period of time between when we close and when the bank can close. Because
I'm working with a client right now. He's a developer. So this particular piece of land, it's pretty great. It's 16 acres. It's right on the ocean down there in Oceanside. And, I think he picked it up. He did a quick bridge at like 1.3 mil. And we have it on the market for $7.8 million. We had a buyer come in, and the buyer basically said, you go ahead and do curb and gutter, and I will go into escrow right now for $16 million on the total property, which is about a year. So in order to close out on everything, he went ahead and did a bridge, and the juice is there, which is pretty wonderful because they came in to already in escrow to actually cover that cost.
Okay.
So that's kind of the direction that he decided to go, was on a bridge loan like that.
That's a perfect example of a bridge loan. So for just getting the borrower from one point to another for that bridge loan.
Right. And then gap funding. And again, I think because I know what I know, but I think a lot of people, they really think that these two are the same. And gap funding is a completely different beast.
Gap funding is completely different. It's where the equity cash in a transaction. So for example, on a construction loan, let's say that in a very easy mathematical sense, you have $100,000 that you need for the transaction.
Right.
And we come in with, say, let's $75,000. Well, you've got to come in with that remaining $25,000. That is the gap. That's the equity portion that borrower has to come in with. So usually it comes in as a second trust deed, and then that investor is considered a gap lender.
Okay, cool. Now, do you guys do that? What kind of person usually does a second?
So a second or a gap lender is someone who is a true real estate investor who wants, those are high risk type of transactions.
Right.
And so you're going to find investors, there are a small number of these types of investors that are highly liquid, have a ton of cash that they want to put out and get high yield on their money.
Right. So they get actually more money back. They're probably going to get a little more money back.
They're going to get a substantially greater return because
it's pretty
higher.
risky.
It's
risky.
risky. It's much riskier.
Okay. So I guess now this is what I find interesting. Whenever I talk, and I talk to a lot of hard money lenders, and it's not that I choose to. Like, I've known you for years. I've known you and a couple other guys that I've worked with, through the years. But this is what I've always found interesting. If you're an investor, or if you're, especially like on Facebook, and you're engaging in different investor markets and different investor groups, or if you're a real estate agent, and this is my biggest fear, real estate agents. Real estate agents get PMs or, private messages and all sorts of stuff from all sorts of random people that claim they have money and claim they're a hard money lender and they'll take care of their clients. And I sometimes feel like investors and real estate agents pick these people the same way that normal people pick real estate agents. It's just whoever happens to be there. And it always blows my mind. So when I find out that a person that I meet picked a specific real estate agent that I know is just horrible, I don't tell them that because ethically, I just think it's dirty of me to do that. It's not my business. It's their choice. But when I look at how they found that person, they just happened to be the first person. They just went with them. Hundreds of thousands of dollars. And they're just going to go with some random person. And I see the same thing when it comes to hard money lending. You have a real estate agent and they're like, whoa, this guy wrote me and he says he could take care of my clients. So they just randomly go with them. Or investors, especially new investors. Because I think seasoned investors, they've already been working with somebody, or they're actually ingrained and built into investor clubs. So they're getting those recommendations, knowing who's actually performing. So my question is, in your words, what do you think makes a good hard money lender?
Well, here at Telomar Financial, we're called what's called a direct lender. So we fund your transactions in-house. The reason that makes a great lender is, number one, we can quote the deal within that day. So if you come to me with a loan request, I can typically quote that transaction over the phone to you because I'm a direct lender. There are other hard money lenders that are what we call rely on outside capital to fund every one of their transactions. So before they can quote you or close your transaction,
right,
they would have to go to their investor base, pass that transaction off to them, see if they can fund the deal, and then get back to you.
Now, I've seen that on a few occasions. I've seen that from I know a couple traditional lenders, and then they sort of dabble in this. So if somebody comes, then they actually start calling around to try to find somebody that will fund it.
And that's scary because
that scares me.
If you need to close your transaction within a week or 2 weeks, you don't know if they can fund your transaction. Now here at Telomar Financial, as a direct lender, I'm going to tell you that we're going to fund your transaction on a certain date with a certain structure. And that's the value that we offer our clients.
Right. So it's literally your money.
And that's why we're the go-to lender here in San Diego, the hard money lender in San Diego.
Right.
Some other items that kind of things that you should think of. You should never pay any upfront fees. That's a typical scam in the hard money lending business.
And I'm
it's an
curious about
upfront
that.
Fee.
So when we talk about, so let's talk about this, points. When people talk about points, and you hear it all the time, especially what I would say is people that are uneducated, right? They'll say, well, it's X % plus points. Now, are points considered a bad thing? Is that an upfront fee, or are they specifically asking for upfront fees and points?
So when I use the term upfront fee, I mean before we even close.
Perfect.
So if you come to me and say, Brock, I need a $100,000 hard money loan, and before I even lift a finger, I say, well, that's going to cost me $1,000 for me to even quote.
Right.
Run away.
Okay, and that's what I want to get, because I think some people get confused on that. And what I've actually seen is somebody will ask for money up front, and then they will ask for the point structure and everything on the back end. So they're just kind of making that cash, which to me, so I could tell you why. And I know a lot of people, one of the things that they always respect whenever they listen to one of my shows, I can tell you my personal opinions, but I like bringing on the experts because this is what you do for a living. And I like bringing on people that I already know, that I've done multiple deals with, that I've worked with, that I trust, because I want to hear from your mouth. What are your red flags? What would you run away from knowing this business, and how this is a consumer protection based program? So what what should these people be, what are they going to see? How is it going to be presented to them?
Mm-hmm. So if you want to loop back around on that upfront fee, I know some people will probably be a little confused on what points are. So points are paid at closing. So once you fund that transaction, you'll pay the points to the lender. Typically, that's how the lender makes their money are these points. But the upfront fee is simply a fee just that you're going to pay, or a lender may ask you to pay just to start looking at your transactions. And if you want to talk about consumer protection, that's something to run away from. You don't need to be paying upfront fees.
No doubt. Now, what I also am curious about, so we talked about, percentages and a good round, like I agree with you. I think personally, if I'm buying a property, I don't want to be any deeper than maybe 65, maybe 70%, maybe. Mm-hmm. And that's dependent on the return that I'm expecting from that property. But I see it all the time. Hard money lenders will give you 90%, will give you 100% of the deal. And that freaks me out. I mean, that's really scary to me, because it's almost like, especially for a junior investor, somebody that's never really done a deal or maybe done one or two deals, I feel like it positions them to potentially just lose right away.
Well, I would say that if a lender is funding 100% of the transaction, and number one, I think there's very few lenders that actually do that. And if they do, they're more of an equity type partnership.
Right.
So, they're taking a percentage of the profit, because that's a substantial amount of risk.
Right.
I look at it as a lender, if I'm funding 100% of the transaction, well, why don't I just do the transaction myself?
Do it yourself.
So, that's why we limit typically around to 65% of the after repair value on fix and flips. But, back to that idea of what makes a good lender, you also want to really get referrals. There's only a few real strong hard money lenders in, let's say, the San Diego marketplace that you can go to that are going to be able to fund your transaction. Talamar Financial obviously is one of those. But you want to even dive further in. What type of transactions does that hard money lender fund? Now, we specialize in fix and flips, construction loans, and bridge loans.
Right.
There are other hard money lenders that may specialize in gas stations. That's something that we don't really lend on.
Right.
So when you start talking to that hard money lender, one of the questions should be, tell me about the last 5 transactions that you did. What type of properties were there? What was the borrower requiring? So that's a good idea of kind of vetting a hard money lender. And then also obviously ask for referrals. You should be able to get on the phone with 1 or 2 other borrowers that have used that hard money lender, and they should tell you about the experience they had.
Right. I agree with you 100%. And I know pretty much everybody that I start working with, and I encourage people all the time. I have a good buddy of mine. He's like, I would never do that with somebody. When we walk into listing appointments, and I'm just talking about our retail side right now, not my investment side. When I walk into a listing appointment, and Kim and I go in there, I even tell them, I recommend that you interview multiple people. I recommend that you do call some of our past clients, or recommend that you interview other agents, because what you're going to find, I think, with what we provide, you're not going to find somebody else that's going to provide as much as we do. And I think referrals are absolutely one of the best things that you could do. And I heard what you said as far as you're asking the hard money lender for his referrals and people that he can call. But if I were to, and I want you to build on this if you can, I've found that if you're new to investing, or especially if you're new to investing, go to a real estate investment club. Go to a real estate investment club.
There are plenty here in San Diego that you can choose from. One of the biggest is what we call the San Diego Real Estate, or SDCIA, San Diego Creative Investor Association down in Mission Valley.
Yeah, there's some amazing people.
That is a great club.
Probably, I would think some of the heaviest hitters that are in San Diego that are true investors, they go to that club.
Absolutely. And then there's NSDREI, which is North San Diego, another great group.
Go to that one every month, love it.
And then the third I would recommend is Phoebe, For Investors, By Investors in Del Mar.
Right.
And each one is on a separate week. And go in there open-minded, be willing to shake hands with people, just look at their name tags and just explain to them that you're looking to get started in the real estate investment world.
Right.
And anybody will go there and tell you their thoughts and put you in connection with the person.
That's how we met, I think. Actually, we met there at a club meeting. It's probably been 3-4 years now.
We're sponsors at all 3 of those events. And so we get an opportunity to meet with new investors and seasoned investors.
Right.
And it's just a great way of just networking.
Yeah, absolutely. So I want to come back to that for a little bit. Now, of course, we got to pay the bill, so we're going to jump to another commercial real quick so the sponsors can get out there. But I think that's extremely important, because I say it all the time. The people that are actually looking to invest, you got to don't just go out there and watch a TV show and start dropping money. So we're going to go ahead and cut out real quick. Again, KSA Insider is Kris McCullough. I'm your host on ESPN 1700. Be back in a few.
Alliance Escrow, the most reliable and hardworking escrow team in San Diego. Buying, selling, or refinancing a home can be a stressful event, and our friendly staff here at Alliance is ready to make your home buying or selling process as smooth as possible. We strive for outstanding customer service and are very dedicated to giving top quality service to each and every sale. Alliance Escrow will provide a special discount to active and reserve service members and disabled or retired veterans as well. Whether it's residential, commercial, bulk business, or refinance, call Alliance Escrow today and let us help you close your deal as seamlessly as possible. Call 619-609-0015 or go to www.allianceescrowinc.com today. That's 619-609-0015 or www.allianceescrowinc.com. Alliance Escrow, your partners in real estate.
Tycor Title of San Diego is the next generation of title companies. They offer their clients the most complete real estate services in the nation. They have 4 convenient locations in the greater San Diego area to service all your residential and commercial transactions. Tycor Title of San Diego offers you title and escrow solutions. Whether you are buying, selling, or refinancing, they have you covered. With over a century of experience, you can count on Tycor Title of San Diego. They have a solid history of servicing customers with high integrity, white glove service, and value. They also have unrivaled financial strength to back your policies. For all your real estate transactions, call Tycor Title of San Diego today at 619-260-5200.
Just last year, 429 million people had their identity stolen as a result of data breaches. Face it, your personal information is out there waiting to be hijacked. Identity theft not only damages your reputation, but costs you thousands of dollars while taking you years to resolve. Why take a chance? ID Cyber Center monitors and protects your bank and credit card accounts, social security number, and even your social media. If your ID is stolen, ID Cyber Center recovers your identity so you can live your life with ease. In today's virtual world, not having identity monitoring, protection, and recovery is like driving without auto insurance. Visit idcybercenter.com to learn more. Again, that's idcybercenter.com or call them at 855-829-6097. Remember, it's not just your identity, it's your life.
Hey, Aztec fans, the San Diego State football team is in the Las Vegas Bowl after becoming back-to-back Mountain West champions. The Aztecs will go up against Houston on Saturday, December 17th at 12:30 in the 25th Las Vegas Bowl. To order your tickets to cheer on the Aztecs, call the Aztec ticket office at 619-283-SDSU or visit GoAztecs.com. All Aztec fans are encouraged to wear black to the game. We'll see you in Las Vegas on December 17th.
This is Brandon Tierney, and this is CBS Sports Minute, brought to you by Grainger, for the ones who get it done. And just like that, seemingly out of nowhere, well, looks like the clock is ticking on Rex Ryan's tenure in Buffalo yet again, which, to be fair, isn't a huge surprise following his final few years with the Jets, Buffalo's alarming drop-off in defense a year ago, and the fact that he fired the second highest paid offensive coordinator just 2 weeks into this season. At the end of the day, Rex Ryan is what he is. He's a guy you'd love to play cards with, a guy you'd love to have on the boys' golf trip, and also a guy you'd probably enjoy dropping a line in the water and catching a few fish with as you reach into the cooler repeatedly. However, he's not the guy you want running your football team. He's a defensive mind, and he's a hell of a quote. But based on all the signs, it looks like he's on the way out, and it could happen any hour. I'm BT.
You know what scares most people? Spiders, heights, public speaking. You know what scares me? Unused inventory. I find the prospect terrifying. Got goosebumps just thinking about it. That's why we use Grainger. Grainger's inventory management solutions make sure our facility has exactly what we need when we need it. No overstock, no understock, no goosebumps. When it comes to inventory management, Grainger's got your back. Call clickgrainger.com or stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is Ben Gordon, and if your teeth are stained from coffee, tea, or smoking, Power Swabs is the answer. In 5 minutes, you'll see 2 shades whiter teeth, and in 7 days, 6 shades. There's no messy strips or trays that you have to leave in your mouth for an hour. Just swab your teeth for 5 minutes, and you're done. Your bright white smile will have your friends talking about how great you look. Try it risk-free.
Call 1-800-544-2352. That's 1-800-544-2352. Again, 1-800-544-2352.
right, San Diego, we are back. KSA Insider here at ESPN 1700, and we have Brock Vandenberg in the studio with us today. And if you've been listening in, a ton of great information has already been coming across. I want to touch real quickly on what we were talking about, and I think it's extremely important. If you're a real estate agent, or if you're thinking about investing, or even if you're a seasoned investor and you want more, if you're not going to investor meetings, especially if you live here in San Diego, we have some of the best investor meetings in the country. If you're not going to these investor meetings, it's really simple. Jump on the old Google machine and just type in San Diego real estate investing, and you're going to find these places, and you're going to run into quality people that will point you in the right direction to learn a lot of these things that we're talking about. So, Brock, right before we got off, we talked about referrals and how people can find you. We talked a lot about hard money lending, and I think we talked about fix and flip loans, but you guys do a ton of other stuff. And I think one of the big ones, going back to my client, we have a client right now, wonderful guy, and he lives here in San Diego. He hooked up with a REIT, and for those of you that don't know, there's a lot of different options that you can put your money into, whether it's the stock market, whether it's you're looking at big hedge funds. And some of these people, they really love the idea of putting it into hard assets, which I do as well. I love hard assets. So that's why I love real estate. But what they do is they go into this REIT because they're, in my opinion, not that it's all bad, I just think they're undereducated on how they can maximize their money, and they're getting maybe a 5% return. On top of the return, this Mike, the client that we're working with right now, he put in over the term of his working career about $1 million, and he's at about $780,000 right now. He's actually lost money over the years of what he's initially put into it for, one reason or another. And I'm not going to go deeper into that because I don't think it's the place. But there's other ways people can invest for a better return, whether it's looking at being an investor. We talked about gap funding, but I think a lot of it is risk tolerance. Risk tolerance. How much risk do you want? And I think somebody that's looking to make money over an extended period of time, one of the things that you do that I've always found really intriguing and very cool, it's trust deed investing. So tell us a little bit about that, because I think a lot of people, they only know of just like literally 2 or 3 niches. They watch too much TV.
And they think flipping homes is the only way to get involved. That's the only way to get involved in real estate.
Right. And that's so wrong.
Absolutely. So at Talamar Financial, we have a platform for people to invest in trust deeds. Simply a trust deed investor is someone who is a private lender. So you're using your funds to lend to somebody using their real estate as collateral. So when we go out and we originate a transaction, and let's say it's a house that's worth $100,000, and we do a loan of $50,000 on that house, you can actually invest as a trust deed investor in that loan that we originated.
Right.
You are directly on what we call the deed of trust. So not to get into details here, but a deed of trust is simply a legal document that is recorded against that property, so for your $50,000 loan.
Right.
And now you become the lender. So that borrower is now paying you directly the interest rate on that loan. We are no different than what a Wells Fargo or a Bank of America would do.
Right.
You are investing in a trust deed. So what we've done is we created a platform for people to invest directly into the trust deeds that we originate. And when I say originate, we go out and we find.
Right. So I got a question on that. And I'll be honest with you. I don't know. I don't think I know enough to know that I don't know everything. Right. And when it comes to trust deed investing, are there multiple options to that, or is it literally a project by project base? So let's say I want to invest. I have a certain amount of money. So like my client right now, I got $780,000, and I really just don't want to have to be the guy that's always engaged. I just want to know that I'm making a profit.
So that's a platform that we've created. Now, I want to just point out that trust deed investing is a risky investment. Mm-hmm. But typically in trust deed investing, you can earn yields all the way from 8 to 12% based on the type of risk that you're going to take. And so the platform that we've created is that you can go into our website at talamarfinancial.com and view all the trust deed investments that we have available. And as long as you're a qualified investor, you can invest in those trust deeds as what we call a fractional investor. So a fractional investor simply is somebody who invests a portion of the loan. So in case, let's say it's a $100,000 loan, you can invest a $50,000 in that loan and become a 50% fractionalized owner, or invest in that whole loan. But something that you did talk about is that you just want to be able to invest and kind of forget.
Right.
So we become that liaison for you through the entire duration of that loan.
Oh, cool.
So once we've underwritten the loan and we present that trust deed to you, you invest in that trust deed, you simply are getting those payments. If you have any questions regarding your trust deed investment, you give us a call. When the borrower is ready to pay off your trust deed, the loan,
right.
We go ahead and manage that whole process.
Very
and
cool.
those funds are deposited directly into your account. Now, not to go into a tangent here,
right.
but there's different types of ways of investing in trust deeds.
That's what I was going to get next. I'm curious about that.
Mm-hmm. So there's really two ways. You can invest what I call direct in the trust deed. So you are physically the lender on that specific property, which is something that what we feel is the best option for investors, because you're invested directly with that loan on that property.
Right.
Or you can invest in what we call a fund. So it simply does is aggregates capital together and then lends out from that fund to different transactions.
Right.
So really that's the two ways of investing in trust deeds. But at Talamar
awesome.
Financial, we're here you're investing directly in that deed of trust.
Right. Okay. So you could basically be as interactive as you want or not at all. Now, one of the things that we were talking about is, and it comes up all the time. So I know when it comes to capital gains and things like that. So somebody's going to invest. We know it's going to be maybe, a year or less on the project. How do they protect themselves with taxes? Is there, because I honestly, I don't know. So now I'm actually kind of curious.
So there's a number of ways that my investors invest in. They can invest directly, personally, or they invest through what we call a self-directed IRA.
That's what I was going to get at next. So, and so for those who don't, I'm going to have you explain it, because it's not just self-directed IRAs, but I'm also curious as we get into this and you explain it. Can we do 401ks? Are there other perfect? Okay, so let's talk about that. That's what I was speculating. So let's find out.
So, even personally, I use our company 401k in some cases to invest in trust deeds. There's plenty of options that you can invest in. And, the advantage of those is, the tax deferral options.
Right.
Now, I'm not an accountant or a self-directed IRA
I need to have
expert,
a guy on. I really need
we
to
have
talk about
plenty of contacts, and I can tell you a couple that are great on the self-directed IRA world, especially here in San Diego.
So for those of you that don't know what a self-directed IRA is, I'll just kind of wrap it up really, really fast. So instead of you saying, I'm going to put all my money into the stock market and invest based off of whatever somebody else says that your money should be worth, and then they charge a whole bunch of fees, you actually invest in yourself, and it's tax deferred. So you say, I have $100,000, I have $10,000, whatever it is, and you create a self-directed IRA. And there's guys that actually do this, and I've listened to a few different, I got some really great classes. And you take that money, you invest that self-directed IRA, and you pay into it every month or how often you want, but any profit that you make off of that goes back into the self-directed IRA. It doesn't go into your pocket. That's actually your future retirement. So instead of doing a traditional IRA where eventually you have to pay taxes on it, you're actually investing in yourself. Is that correct?
I have a lot of investors that are not interested in putting their funds in the stock market or in bonds. They prefer a non-traditional route with their capital.
Right.
And so I have a lot of people that have converted their traditional IRA or the Roth IRA into a self-directed Roth or traditional IRA, and just utilize those funds in those accounts to invest in trust deeds.
We did the same thing. I pretty much started closing out all of my stock because I just saw the returns and the ability for me to control the returns that I'm getting, and I love assets. I love hard assets. I don't want to trust some guy that's sitting at a all they're doing is just they're charging you a buttload of money.
Well, Chris, you understand it.
Right.
And that's what's most important is that you understand real estate. And so you can invest in something that you understand.
Right.
With a self-directed IRA, it doesn't have to be real estate. It can be something completely different that's an investment that you know and that you want to invest in.
Right. That's awesome. So when we talk about taxes and they're making these profits, they can actually, depending on how they structure their money. And do you think that you guide them, or do you usually recommend that out to somebody, like maybe their accountant? Because I know for me, whenever somebody asks me about taxes, I say, look, you got to talk to your accountant, or if it's self-directed, something like that, I put them in front of an expert. I usually avoid that personally.
I'm not a financial advisor or an accountant, but I have plenty of contacts or people that I can direct some of my investors to open a self-directed IRA account.
Right.
There's plenty of people here in San Diego.
What other options? So if they start working with, let's say, a company like you, and they're doing trust deed investing, which I think is fantastic personally. I think trust deed investing is amazing. What other things should they do to prepare themselves to actually come to you and get this going?
Well, number one, we can walk through the process. We have plenty of trust deed investors that are simply new to the game, that don't have any background in it, and we can walk through in detail what a trust deed investment is. But we also have plenty of investors that are large family offices that invest in trust deeds, that are looking for a specific type of trust deed. Maybe they're looking for commercial real estate in San Diego, a loan secured on commercial real estate in San Diego, or they're looking for residential assets in North San Diego.
Right.
As long as I get the parameters of what they're looking for, as new trustee or new loans come in, I can push them that way.
Right. Is there a minimum when somebody's looking? Because this has always been a curiosity. A lot of people think they can't start investing if they don't have $800 bazillion sitting aside.
No, typically we like to see about $50,000 minimum. One thing to consider in investing in trust deeds is definitely don't put all your eggs in one basket. This should just be a small percentage of your portfolio,
right.
And a percentage that is allocated to high risk type investments. Now they're getting high yields, but it's a high risk investment.
Right. Awesome. I just think this is just amazing information. And I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of feedback on this once we, because I post a show online, social media. A lot of people listen to me whenever I'm on the air right now. And this is just great content.
One thing I was going to mention is that if you do go to our website at talomarfinancial.com, we do have videos specific for investing in trust deeds.
That's
awesome. You can watch some 2 to 3 minute snippets of what a trust deed investment is, what are the pitfalls of trust deed investments, what are the benefits of investing in trust deeds.
What's the website again?
Talomarfinancial.com. So
Talomarfinancial.com.
T as in Tom, ALIMAR financial.com. Check it out.
Yeah, so they can jump right on there and actually get educated. And, we talk about this all the time, especially for our business. I like educating people whenever possible. We're going to have to cut off real quick. Another commercial break coming in. And just keep listening. We're going to come back, and I think we're going to start wrapping it up after this commercial. And Brock, I want to make sure everybody can find you. So we're going to take a quick commercial. ESPN 1700, KSA Insider.
Ty-Court Title of San Diego is the next generation of title companies. They offer their clients the most complete real estate services in the nation. They have 4 convenient locations in the greater San Diego area to service all your residential and commercial transactions. Ty-Court Title of San Diego offers you title and escrow solutions. Whether you are buying, selling, or refinancing, they have you covered. With over a century of experience, you can count on Ty-Court Title of San Diego. They have a solid history of servicing customers with high integrity, white glove service, and value. They also have unrivaled financial strength to back your policies. For all your real estate transactions, call Ty-Court Title of San Diego today at 619-260-5200.
Alliance Escrow, the most reliable and hardworking escrow team in San Diego. Buying, selling, or refinancing a home can be a stressful event, and our friendly staff here at Alliance is ready to make your home buying or selling process as smooth as possible. We strive for outstanding customer service and are very dedicated to giving top quality service to each and every sale. Alliance Escrow will provide a special discount to active and reserve service members and disabled or retired veterans as well. Whether it's residential, commercial, bulk business, or refinance, call Alliance Escrow today and let us help you close your deal as seamlessly as possible. Call 619-609-0015 or go to www.allianceescrowinc.com today. That's 619-609-0015 or www.allianceescrowinc.com. Alliance Escrow, your partners in real estate.
Hi, I'm Philippe Heller with the Real Estate Inspection Company. When buying real estate today, it's more important than ever to have a thorough home inspection to protect yourself. When quality and experience count, contact the Real Estate Inspection Company. We're the largest home inspection company serving San Diego for 10 years. After checking hundreds of items throughout a house, we provide a detailed computer-generated inspection report. And we use the newest and best infrared thermal imaging at every inspection 7 days a week. Check us out at sdinspect.com. That's sdinspect.com.
Go to Fuller Honda. They are there to help make your Honda dream a reality by bringing you an excellent selection of new and used Honda vehicles and great service to enhance your ownership experience. Their friendly, experienced staff will be happy to respond to any questions you may have about sales, service, or parts. Fuller Honda has the whole lineup, from the Accord to the Civic to the CR-V to the all-new Pilot. They have the right vehicle for your family. Best of all, this new Honda lineup features some of the best fuel economy on the market, along with contemporary styling at affordable prices. Stop into Fuller Honda today, and they will exceed your expectations from test drive to delivery. Their professional sales team is committed to a no-pressure, high-integrity approach to your ownership experience. Think Fuller Honda. Great prices, great selections, and great deals, where they've treated you like family for over 60 years. Auto Park Drive off the 805 in the Chula Vista Auto Park.
Progressive presents Mindfulness with Flow.
You feel yourself getting lighter with each Progressive discount. Paperless, safe driver, multi-car. Yes, lighter, like a new line of sneakers. Or a slugger on a crash diet the week before spring training. Stay away from the cheesecake.
Ascend to a higher plane of insurance with Progressive. Visit Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
I'm Jay Farner, president of Quicken Loans. Recently, mortgage rates have dropped to the second lowest level in history. The rate today on a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is all the way down to 4.125%. APR, 4.82%. It's a great time to refinance with Quicken Loans and save hundreds every month. So lock in this ultra-low rate before it goes back up. Call 800-QUICKEN. That's 800-QUICKEN.
Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS ConsumerAccess.org, number 3030.
All right, San Diego, we are back. KSA Insider, ESPN 1700, and we're going to start buttoning it up here. Brock, thank you so much for coming on with us today. There's a ton of great content, and for those of you that are listening, if a lot of this went over your head, but like you're really intrigued, you got to reach out to us. You can reach out to me. I'll give you my information. Reach out to Brock. A lot of people find me on Facebook. We're absolutely willing to give you everything that we have. It just, unfortunately, we only have an hour. We only have an hour to get all this information out. And this is honestly like hours of information. So, Brock, I want to finish up with my last question. I do this with just about everybody. What would be your number one recommendation for anybody that's listening right now if they wanted to deal with a hard money lender, somebody like you?
So just generally, if you're looking to get into the real estate market and investing generally, educate yourself. And you don't need to go out and buy books. You don't need to go out and buy that $100,000 class to educate yourself. You can just listen to you can listen. You can go on the internet and just start really reading and understanding the real estate market. Secondly, you can actually go to networking events. So we talked about SDCIA.
Right.
We talked about NSDREI.
That's my number one. I tell people all the time, go. You got to go.
Go and put yourself out there. Go introduce yourself to people at these events, especially people that are qualified individuals. We're sponsored every 3 of those events. Please come up to me, shake my hand, and I'll be more than happy to point you in the right direction.
Those people are so humble. I remember I had met this guy years ago, and I had hung out with him for like a year, and I'd ask him questions and bounce stuff off of him. And out of the blue, I got a really weird investment opportunity, but I knew he kind of dabbled in that. Little did I know, that specific investment that I called him about, he was like the guru. He makes $12 million a year just for waking up in that one niche. And you would have never known. He shows up in flip-flops, and he's just an average guy.
And he was able to develop that niche and really exploit it.
And I've made a ton of money off of it. And they're always willing to tell you information. So that I'm with you. To me, whenever I talk to people, my number one recommendation is educate yourself. Educate yourself. And you don't have to spend a ton of money to do it. In fact, you can do most of it for free. And in fact, I think when people go out and start buying books and some of these other programs, most of them are structured to be sell-up programs. They're going to be losing money. They're going to keep getting brought right back in. And I'm telling you, the true investors, the guys that are actually actually out here doing it. People like Brock, people like myself, if you want to look me up, and other people that I've had on the air with me, they're willing to tell you anything that you want to know. You just ask, and if they don't know, they're going to point you in the right direction and introduce you to somebody. So I want to go ahead and start buttoning this up because we only have a few minutes left. I want to say, Brock, thank you again. I appreciate it. How do people find you if they want to talk to you? So
I'll give you my phone number. We love to hear from people. Our number is 858-414-5011. Again, 858-414-5011. Give me a call if you have a loan that you're looking to fund, or if you're looking to invest in trust deeds. I'm always available to talk to you.
I know you guys are on social media as well. I catch your updates all the time. Like, they're always popping up on my Facebook, things like that. Can people find you on social media?
Yeah, we're heavy on social media. So if you want to look us up on Facebook, you can look up Talamar Financial. Obviously, you can go to our website at talamarfinancial.com. Again, that's T as in Tom, ALIMAR financial.com. And we have plenty of resources that you can look at to educate yourself and look at what's going on in the current market by going to our website.
Awesome. Brock, thank you so much. I appreciate it. And for everybody out there listening, thanks for listening in. I always appreciate the feedback. I get a ton of feedback every time I'm on the air. And, keep it coming. So for those of you that are looking for us, you can look me up. It's Kris with a K, K-R-I-S, McCullough, M-C-C-U-L-L-O-U-G-H, on Facebook, Instagram, or you can just type in Kim Steele, Steel Like the Metal, and Associates. If you type that anywhere in Google, you're going to find a ton of stuff from us. We're all over social media, all over the web. And just reach out to me. Send me a private message, ask questions. I know I do a couple things online that educate real estate agents. I know one of them is KSA Real Estate Insider on Facebook. I do daily videos. I post up a lot of just basic content like this. And pretty soon, we're going to be doing a podcast. So guys like Brock and a lot of these other guys that I know, and I know a lot of great people in the business, we're just going to keep putting out great content so you can get educated. And I deeply believe you have to educate yourself in order to dominate whatever you're doing. If you're a real estate agent, if you're the average Joe trying to set yourself up for success so you can actually retire, if you're an investor, educate yourself to dominate the market. With that said, San Diego, thank you so much. We appreciate you. Keep listening in. ESPN 1700 right here. And of course, you can always look us up online, KSA Insider. Have a great one, and Merry Christmas, everybody. Have a good one.